You're on 100.3 FM at the Sounds of Macarthur. Greg Bryant with you for the Aussie Collection Show. It's now time for a special guest for Acoustics in the Room, and this week we have the talented James Van Cooper. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Greg. How are you? Good morning, Macarthur.
Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
So if there's someone listening who's unfamiliar with you, can you tell them about yourself?
Well, as we said just then, my name is James Van Cooper. I'm a singer-songwriter, and I started out playing rock music in a long-haired rock and roll band. And although this is a listening exercise, I'm sure that you can imagine I have long hair. I kept the long hair, and now I'm doing country music.
Well, it suits you.
Thank you very much.
And so have you always wanted to be a performer?
Yeah, that was always the plan, I think. I don't think anything else worked for me. I think that this was the one thing that made sense. And so from a young age, it was plan zero, plan only. And I think that's sort of what's gotten me here, is that I had no backup. This was it.
Well, I think Australia is going to be glad you did.
Thank you very, very much.
And when you were growing up, who was your influences in music?
Well, as I said, I grew up playing rock music, so I was on a steady diet of, Kiss and Motley Crue and Bon Jovi. But once I sort of got away from that, my first real love of music was Elvis, and that was, a big one for me from a young age. I really loved that sort of stuff. Now that I'm doing this music, my influences come from a lot of the old country Americana scene in Nashville, being Jason Isbell and Justin Townsend and all those kind of cats. And as well as blues, blues was a big part of my upbringing. That was the first kind of stuff that I learned. I got taught from a young age that blues was the truth. And so that's what I tried to do. I tried to be truthful.
Yeah. Well, you have brought your guitar, and I'd love to hear a live track. What are you going to play first?
I'm going to do Remedy, which is the single off my new record, High Rise Skyline. This is a open apology note to my current, my future, and my past ex-girlfriend. I'm leaving in the morning before I hurt you too. I've seen the signs and warnings, but I've never had to choose. I wouldn't say I'm happy, it's just the life that I live. So I leave before I use you. I leave before you start to give. When you see me smiling, it's 'cause I know you're free. Free from all my lying, free from loving me. It's not a cure, it's just a remedy. I'll be gone before the sunrise kisses you awake. I've been memorizing your eyes and the way you made me shake. That's right. When you see me smiling, it's 'cause I know you're free. Free from all my lying, free from loving me. It's not a cure, it's just a remedy. But if the time was right, I'd be holding you tonight. But I'm stuck out here, waiting on a sleepless night, with what I've left behind. If you would still have me after all you heard me say, it's probably not that easy, girl, because I'm bound to go away. When you see me smiling, it's 'cause I know you're free. Free from all my lying, free from loving me. It's not a cure, it's just a remedy. You're not my cure, you'll be my remedy. Won't you, baby? Yeah.
James Van Cooper there on 100.3. That was fantastic.
Thanks, mate.
Great single.
Thank you very much.
So when you do write, where do you get your inspiration from?
I think that my inspiration comes from just the life that I live. I think that I spend most of my life on tour and on the road and traveling around the place, and I see a lot and I experience a lot. And also, let's not forget, I'm a country singer, so I have to sing about those awful, sad breakup songs, right?
There's not many happy country songs, is there?
Well, they say that if your country song is longer than 3.5 minutes and it's not sad, it's not really a country song.
And you were saying off air that you have a story about Louise Adams.
Louise Adams, yes.
Who people may know from X Factor.
Yes, Louise Adams is a dear friend of mine. She was on the X Factor a couple of years back, and I met her on that show. I was not on there, but they got in touch because they knew I had a couple guitars, and Louise needed a guitar for the show, and they couldn't get hers all the way from Mount Gambier in South Australia, so I lent one to her, and we ended up becoming close friends. And then I heard she was going to the Tamworth Country Music Festival, and I wanted to go quite badly, so I, via text message, just demanded to be her guitar player. I just said, hey, I'm your guitar player now. And she was like, okay, sure. And she took me to Tamworth, and that's where I met Bill Chambers, who produced this record, High Rise Skyline, and we wrote songs together, and we've toured the rest of the past year and a half together, almost 2 years now. We spent it on the road, traveling around Australia and Europe and the UK, just doing shows and touring. And so Louise Adams has been a big part of my past 2 years.
And you did say you were toured with Bill Chambers. What's it like touring with him?
Bill Chambers is the best. Let no one tell you differently. Bill Chambers, I met him at his daughter Casey's show. I was sitting there watching the show, and Bill walked off stage during the show and walked into the crowd, and he walked up to me, and I was quite nervous because Bill Chambers, if you don't know him, can be quite intimidating at times. And he came up to me and said in his deep voice, "I like your hat," and I quietly said, "I like the way you play slide guitar, Bill Chambers." And the next day, I was on stage with him. And then the week after that, I was having family lunch. And that's basically how that happened. Touring with Bill is amazing. I owe him a lot. He taught me how to write songs, I think. I used to write tunes, but now, thanks to Bill, I write songs.
Wow, and you're not the first person to say that about Bill.
No, Bill's been a great champion of young artists.
And one that I had in the studio, Rory Phillips.
Yes, I know Rory.
Bill's done a lot of work with him as well. So
yes, Bill and I wrote a song with Rory. We did that. That was very fun.
That would be fun. And so your EP, High Rise Skyline, can you tell us about it?
Yeah, so this EP, this is my first solo release, and I think that this is me trying to find me again. I think that for those of you who don't know, I was in that long-haired rock and roll band, and we sang about all the fun stuff, tattoos and whatnot, and that was really fun for a long time, and then it stopped being fun because of the way I was living. And this record, before this came out, I got my life together. I stopped living so excessively, and this record is me. This is a snapshot of me on the road, experiencing a life on life's terms for the first time. And I think that this EP is just me trying to figure out who I am and all of that.
And how can people get a copy if they want one of the EP?
You can get them online. You can also email me on my Facebook page, and my manager and whoever is on that will sort you out with one. Also, I'm on tour all the goddamn time, so you'll find one there too.
And if people want to find out where you're playing, is Facebook?
You can find all of my information on my website, jamesvancoopermusic.com. That's got all my tour dates and all that fun stuff.
Well, we'd love to hear another live track. What are you going to play next?
All right, then. Well, I think that I'll play a song called "Sober." This is the first song. This is the first song on the record. It is the first country song I wrote. It's about right when I got out of the phase that I was in and out of that haze. This is my life story in about 3.5 minutes. So I went, sat in the circle, and I said my name in a room full of strangers for the first time today. I talked about my past, all the stupid things I've done, and they all nodded and looked back at me. Even though I was so young, I didn't want to quit the fight, but I couldn't take no more. And at the bottom of that bottle, I could see the killing floor. God, my head still hurts, and I look a little worse than when we met. I don't know if I'm sober, yeah. Well, I started kind of young, and I got kind of good at trying to fight myself. Every night somehow I'd always lose, and I've seen too many sunrises in a different town than mine, with people I don't really know, or in a bed that wasn't mine. And even though it's hard to say that this doesn't work for me, and I think this time it's finally gonna stick. Yeah. God, my head still hurts, and I look a little worse than when we met. I don't know if I'm sober, yeah. In the nights we had, memories for us alone, and the fights we had, who's to say, yeah, who's to know? But this is me, no more lies, no trickery, my love. Will I still be enough? So I went, sat in the circle, and I said my name in a room full of strangers for the first time today.
James Van Cooper there on 100.3 in the Aussie Collection Show. So, James, what's next for you?
Next for me, well, I've been on the road the past couple of weeks, off and on, with my dear friend Lloyd Spiegel, the great Lloyd Spiegel, in my mind, Australia's best blues player. In fact, he's in the car park right now. He drove me here. But on the road with him. But next up, I'll be in Brisbane in November. I'll be playing up there. But I think that my next show is in Berrima this Friday night. I'll be at E2 in Berrima this Friday with my dear friend Mitch Rogers playing with me. It's going to be a great night. But all of my tour dates are on my website, as I said.
And everyone's make sure they go to a James Van Cooper show.
Please do, because I like to give high fives, and I like to talk about, everyone's favourite bands that they have. So if you have a favourite band, please come to a show and tell me what they are. I might not know who they are because my musical knowledge is as wide as like Hall & Oates and Danzig, but between those, you'll find a band that I know, I think.
Well, thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me, mate.
And do you think we can finish with one more?
Sure.
What are you going to play?
I'm going to play a song off my record called Learn the Hard Way. I wrote this with Bill Chambers. This is a country song in F for those of you playing along at home. E. We stood on the edge of tomorrow. We sat at the end of the day, drowning in puddles of sorrow. We were hoping to just find a way to believe in the promise, a promise that's made to the wind. You can't make something from nothing, but we do it again and again. Rescue me from the life that I'm living, running away. Rescue me from the lies that I told my darkest day. And if I fall back in your arms, remind me to say, yeah, I learned the hard way. Yeah, I learned the hard way. We believed we could walk through the fire. We believed we'd never get burned. But the flames, they only reach higher when they are just lessons unlearned. If we get back to the highway, we'll meet at the end of the day. At least we'll all die with our stories, and no one can take that away. Rescue me from the life that I'm living, running away. Rescue me from the lies that I told the darkest day. And if I fall back in your arms, remind me to stay, baby. Yeah, I learned the hard way. Yeah, I learned the hard way.
The super talented James Van Cooper there. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for having me, Greg. I'll see you next time.
Sure will. Thank you.
Have a great Monday.